Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. So good to see you. And today is officially Winning Wednesdays, and the reason it's called Winning Wednesdays is because my guest today, my buddy Errol Seemangal, has called it Winning Wednesdays, and what Errol says goes is what's going to go. And I want to ask Errol, how you doing today, man?
Peace, Doc. I'm great. I'm blessed by God. Everything's great. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, so let's talk about the markets right now in terms of what's going on, in the world of not just stocks but also options as well. There's been a lot of volatility lately, a little bit of chaos. What have you been seeing on your end?
The last 10 days, roughly, a lot of red, but that comes with the territory. That's all part of the game. If you're familiar with the market today, the market kind of rebounded so far. First 3 hours of market open today, so it all comes with the territory. We know what we're getting into beforehand, so this is. I kind of have the same sentiment whether the market's green or red. I have the same psychology regardless. That's what I'm saying.
Mm, okay, and you've been with us in the Black Business School for a while, for a long time. How many years you've been rocking with us?
I've been rocking with the BBS since 2019. I first
Wow.
started following you online. I think I seen you on an interview on the Breakfast Club, and I asked myself, who is this crazy guy talking about life insurance, stock markets, entrepreneurship? This guy's radical. This guy's crazy. So I really rock with crazy and radical people. So it's been about 6 years now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man. I think that the economics in our community is the most important thing that we have going on. I mean, if we don't get that straight, like we're in trouble. I kind of feel like that's kind of the mandate of this whole generation. What drives you when it comes to economics and wealth and money, and why is that important for you?
Several things drive me. First thing right off the top of my head is failure. Failure drives me. My hunger drives me. I think about the alternatives, right? I always consider
Mm,
opportunity cost. If I don't rock these wealth plays, if I don't do this? What's a better alternative? So I'm always thinking about alternative. If I don't have a better
mm,
alternative, I need to rock with these wealth plays. So that's always
okay.
a big consideration for me.
Okay, rock with these wealth plays. So, what would you say are the wealth plays that you're most interested in?
Options, it's the most efficient from my analysis and my experience. It's the most efficient way of earning, excuse me. Options first, traditional entrepreneurship second, side hustles third.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. Yeah, I think everybody should learn that. Did you learn stuff like that when you were a kid, or did you learn it more so when you were an adult?
A little mix of both. I was the kid back in grade school hustling 5 cent bubble gums. Flipping them for a quarter. I bought them for a nickel. I flipped them for a quarter. So I was had side hustles coming up growing up. So I kind of have a mix of the practical and the theoretical. I was formally
Mhm.
trained in business as well, so I consider myself the best of both worlds, the best of the theoretical world as well as the best of um, with the ability to implement as well.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Toronto, Canada. Moved to the United States back in 2010, but I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, Toronto. I love Toronto. Toronto's like I always say Toronto is like what New York City would be if everybody was really nice. Just nice people. Like I talked to my buddy Killer Mike about the beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and I said, man, I feel like that was kind of harsh. I feel like he called him all these names and everything, and he said, well, he said Americans are meaner than Canadians. What do you think about it? Do you think that's true, or
There's
is that
some truth
BS?
to that. There's definitely some truth to that. I tell a few people in my immediate network, you guys, you too nice. You must be Canadian. Why you live in the United States? You really belong in Canada. Your nature is kind and lighthearted. You live in the wrong country.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, my dissertation chair, his name was Andrew Caroli. He was from Canada, and he was one of the nicest white guys I ever met. And it was interesting. He made me sensitive to the fact that I was used to white guys not being nice to me. You know what I mean? Like when I saw this white guy who treated me with respect and dignity and decency the entire time I knew him, it was new. It was like a shock. Like what's going on? Like where's the other shoe gonna drop? And this is the man who signed off on my dissertation. And I'm gonna tell you, I'll love him till the day I die. He's a good, very good man. Um, so let's jump into stock options a little bit. What did you think about what happened this past week in terms of some of these companies? A lot of the options plays, the marathon platforms, huts, things like that, kind of getting pummeled. What was going through your mind?
Well, anytime, whether the market's red or green, there's always great opportunity. So those last 10 days or so, when some of these tickers pulled back, if you know the right strategy, that's a great opportunity. So for myself, I saw Mara pull back just recently. Yesterday, I sold puts on Mara. Generally speaking, I like Mara anything below 17, but I really like it at 12 or 12.50. So
Mm.
my general approach was to sell puts on these large pullbacks.
Okay, yeah, Mara is way below 17. It's at 1268 right now. Do you know that?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the last 3 months, Mara's dropped 50%. It's dropped actually from 20. It was at 25 3 months ago, and it's down. And it's funny, I've had it in my portfolio the entire time. Like I never got rid of it. I kept it. I just kept making my income from it. And when the price dropped, I just kept buying more shares and adding to my portfolio, stuff like that. Do you kind of have a go-to philosophy, when it comes to the way you invest and sort of manage things, in a turbulent market like this?
Yeah. On a red day, like recently, I'll sell puts. I'll take some of that capital and I'll put it towards my long-term holds. So
Mm,
I kind of generate cash flow and I can build out my long-term positions. So I kind of balance both objectives simultaneously.
really? Okay, okay. And now Mara. Somebody's asking about Mara. They said Mara's Candy Company. No, we're talking about Mara. Mara. That's the ticker symbol. Mara. And now you're gonna do something on this platform that you wanted to call Winning Wednesdays. Tell us about Winning Wednesdays and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, my general approach with winning Wednesdays is to discuss current events in the stock market and the options market. So, for example, today, many of you know, Nvidia reports. Very large company. I think arguably the top two company might be by market cap might be the biggest company as we speak. But today's earnings will likely move the market. But then in terms of option plays, I know Mara also reports today after hours. So my plan with Winning Wednesdays is to discuss current events in the stock market and options market, discuss earnings, Fed meetings, different potential plays we can make, and how we can cash flow in any market condition.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's great. I love that. And what I'm gonna try to do is make sure you invite me in when you get set up. I know you invite me to stuff, and a lot of times I can't make it, but periodically I might want to pop in because I think this is a great idea, and I think this is something that a lot of us can use in terms of just sort of knowing what the opportunities are. Like I know that with the last election, there were a lot of us that were so caught up in the political side of it that a lot of people missed out on the economic opportunities that came out of that. How have things gone for you since the election? I mean, what was that like for you?
I really have the same sentiment. Election, pandemic, epidemic, hurricane, tsunami. I really have the same psychology all the time. Wildfire. I have the same sentiment. I'm going to get paid regardless. My bills will be due regardless who the president is, who the president isn't. My bills will be paid. My family must eat. So I have the same sentiment. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. I try to stay cool, calm, and collected. And I'm going to get paid in any market condition. That's my overall psychology.
There we go. So y'all hear that? I hope everybody's hearing that. I mean, your bills are going to come due regardless. Donald Trump is not paying your bills, and neither is Joe Biden. And so I would encourage everybody to be consistent. Like that's the goal. If you're consistent, then your life will typically reflect the consistency that exists within your soul. So a lot of the key to investing is to be consistent. And it's important to be consistent because investing is not consistent. The market's not consistent. The world is not consistent. So the only thing you can control is you and how you react. And I can tell you as an investor, I really think about managing my investments the same way I manage like our teenage daughters. Like they're emotional, they're volatile, they're up and down or whatever. I can't be that way. I'm the parent. I'm responsible for providing stability in the household. So I'm not gonna match that same energy. If you're going crazy and acting weird, that's on you. Same thing when my stocks act weird. That doesn't mean I have to be weird. And what'll happen a lot of times, Errol, is investors will start getting weird because their stocks are getting weird, or they'll start chasing the wins and chasing the gains, and and running away from the losses, and next thing you know, there's complete chaos in your portfolio, and you're losing money, and you don't know why, and it's just a big mess. Um, what are your thoughts on some of that in terms of your consistency and everything else?
I know a lot of people may get impulsive or crazy or overreact. So my general approach is to stay calm. I already know what going into what could potentially happen, right? So I'm cool with that. I know that beforehand. So
Mm,
me generally, I don't get too crazy. I don't get too caught up in the short term volatility. I don't get caught up. I'm not losing sleep in a market like this. I've got the
mm.
same approach, regardless green, red, flat. I've got the same approach, same consistency.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. So, um, one thing I'll say is, since we brought some people in, I can bounce out and you can just kind of talk to the folks that are here. Because I think that I'd be curious to know what you mentioned Nvidia and Mara, their earnings coming out today. Did you have any specific plays you were making in response to that, or are you just kind of observing, or what?
My general approach is just to not play earnings, but I did make some plays on Mara earlier this week. And going into that, I know what the potential outcomes will be, so I'm not really gonna over manage those positions. I've got the more hands off approach with those positions. So after Mara's earnings today, I'm cool with the outcome.
Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bounce out actually, and just so y'all know, I hope you'll hit the subscribe button because Errol's gonna be doing winning Wednesdays right here on this platform. So you guys were invited in. I hope you'll make sure you subscribe and everything, so you'll be notified when Errol does his thing on Wednesdays. Errol is not just a longtime student in the Black Business School, but he also supports us in our stock options program. He does trainings on Sundays, as well as a lot of private consultations, things like that. And I wanted to just step in and just welcome him to the space. He's a great guy. I've seen him I've seen you at a lot of events, as well as your significant other. She's a great lady. And these are the types of quality people we have in our community. So I hope you guys. I'm going to step aside and do my job of being quiet, and I hope you'll hang out with Errol for a while because he's got some valuable insights he can share with you. So good luck to you, brother.
Thank you, Doc.
All right, do your thing. I'm gonna bow out now.
See you, Doc. We'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
All right. One thing I wanted to mention about the market recently is, before I forget, I'd like to mention this. It's been red the last 2 weeks, roughly. So one stock I've been keeping my eye on specifically is Microsoft. I love Microsoft. Currently at 401. Yesterday it dipped below 400. It was at 398 or 399 yesterday. So what I do is keep some cash on the sidelines to build out my Microsoft position. So one thing I do every week is take some portion of my options premium and put it towards my long-term holds. So Microsoft is one of my long-term holds. So I just build out that position week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter. And I wanted to mention Microsoft currently at 401.91. So keep an eye on that if you like Microsoft. If you have any Q&A, drop them in the chat. I'm trying to keep up with the chat as best as I can. So if you got a quick, concise question, you want to discuss anything in particular, feel free. As you may type some questions or comments in the chat, I wanted to mention that I have a monthly meeting through the BBS, first Sunday every month, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So the first Sunday of the month is this coming Sunday, March 2nd. So if you're interested in that monthly meeting, this month's topic is position management. So a lot of us know how to sell to open or buy to open. But the managing of the position is something completely different. So we're going to discuss position management on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's see if I can drop this URL in the chat and you can check it out. And while I do that, feel free to type anything in the chat, any comments or questions in the chat. Who do we have in the chat? I see Tara, Jeremy, Susan, Gloria. Peace to everyone. Roxanne. Do you always sell all of your options on your holdings? My general approach is to sell all. Just say I had 500 shares. My general approach is to sell all 5 contracts. So that's my general approach. But of course, you can calibrate according to your objectives. Red is the deal. Is the I thought I'm misreading your comment. I thought that one comment read, "Red is the real deal." Red is the real deal, but I misread that. Misread that comment. How much does a person need to get started? My general response to that question is less than 10,000. But if you can find tickers that are cheaper, where you can own 100 shares for less than 10,000, and there's a liquid options market for that ticker, you can jump in for less than 10,000. For example, Mara's currently at 12. Let's see what it is. Mara's at 1271. So 100 shares will cost you $1,271. Or you can sell a put at say 1250 and then needing 1250 cash collateral. So my general response to that question is 10,000, but it could be less depending on the ticker. Are you on any other platforms? You mean in terms of these classes, or do you mean in terms of brokerage platforms? Any cheaper stocks look good? SoFi I know is on the cheaper end. That has a good options market. What else? Mara, of course. Check out SoFi though. Check out SoFi. What time you'll be on every Wednesday? My plan is to go live Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern. So moving forward, Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern. We're going to discuss current market trends, what's going on in the market, some option plays, things like that. So Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern. Are you invested in water stocks? Not directly. If any water tickers are within the S&P, then yes, but not directly. What type of trader do you consider yourself? Do you mainly day trade? No, I don't day trade. For me personally, day trading is too much work, too little return. I don't want a day job. What type of trader do I? The type of trader I consider myself is more hands off. I'm more passive. I'm not selling to open on Monday, then rolling on Tuesday, then rolling the roll on Wednesday. No, I'm not with that. Generally speaking, few minutes Monday morning, and I'll revisit Friday. I'll revisit Monday. So more of a hands-off investor. Is selling options? Are you worried about the market will reverse from this downturn and shoot past your strike? No, I'm not worried about that at all. If you're talking covered calls and you're worried about current price being over your strike price, you could always roll, right? We're going to talk about more of that on Sunday. But if you pick strike prices above your average cost, you made money, right? If your shares get sold, that's the whole point, making money. What stock did you just say? Mara, SoFi, SoFi, MARA. Oh, you mean what platforms? Yeah, you can connect with me on Instagram. You can just search my name on Instagram, Errol Seemangal. I'm active on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Michelle Garner, if you want to generate 5K per month consistently, great question. That question deals with options algebra. What capital? Great question. Yeah. Last month, we discussed that exact question. You can use options algebra to reverse engineer your desired cash flow. If your desired cash flow is $5,000 a month, you can use options algebra to come up with the capital base. Conversely, you could, once you know your capital base, you can come up with the desired cash flow. So the answer to your question lies in options algebra. That's the exact topic we discussed last month. Actually, this earlier this month, February, in the monthly meeting. Are you familiar with MSTY ticket? What do you think? MSTY? I'm not familiar with MSTY. What should one do with 1K today? Are you asking in terms of buying and holding or options? If you're asking in terms of options, um, maybe you look at tickers that you can own 100 shares of, less than that will cost you less than 1,000. Just check their liquidity. Make sure there's an options market for that specific ticker. What time Sunday? My monthly meeting is the first Sunday every month, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Long-term investors, is now time to buy? Yeah, of course. Every day is the time to buy for long-term investors, especially when the market's pulled back like has recently. That's just my 2 cents. Do you offer private sessions to get started with investment strategy for beginners? Yes, I do. Once I figure out the chat, I'll drop the link in. But just log into theblackbusinessschool.com. You'll see my offerings. Check out the bulk consultations package. Maybe that's your best move. I'm new. How do I know if there is a options market for a particular stock? Great question, Karen. On whatever brokerage you use, maybe you use Robinhood. Check its liquid. You can check the liquidity by checking the open interest and the volume. If those numbers, generally speaking, if those numbers are in the hundreds or thousands, that's a very liquid ticker. How do we get invited to the Sunday monthly meeting? The Sunday monthly meeting is a offering through the Black Business School. Just log into blackbusinessschool.com, search all the offerings, or just search my name, and you'll see the offering. How do you sign up for the Sunday meetings? We just talked about that. What are some highest paying monthly dividend ETFs, and how much should you invest? How much you should invest? I follow Doc's his train of thought when it comes to that. Whatever you spend on going out to eat, whatever you spend on fast food, whatever you spend on the car note, match that in the market. A couple of high-paying dividends off the top of my head. SCHD. I know a lot of people like that one. A lot of people like these monthly paying real estate REITs. Realty. Coca-Cola pays them a good dividend, I believe. Check out SCHD though. Let's see what else we got. How much does a person need to get started? Kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. My general answer to that question is less than 10,000. You can how can you share? We can follow you. You can hit me up on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Threads, or you can email me, Errol at errolseemangal.com. Those are the best ways to get with me. Also, I forgot to mention on March 7th, I'll be presenting Mathematics for Millionaires, Escaping the Corporate Plantation in Miami, Florida. So if you haven't booked your flight and your hotel down to Miami, consider doing that. I'm working on a great presentation for Friday, March 7th. Right, dollars make sense. I have the same mindset. I will get paid regardless. What president's in office, what president's not in office, who the governor is, what the inflation rate is, how much eggs cost, how much gas costs, doesn't matter. You need to get paid in any market condition. Your bills will be due in any market condition. Nobody's coming to save you in any market condition. SPLG or VOO. I'm not too familiar with SPLG. I do have holding in VOO, so I'll say VOO. I'm hearing that you possibly favor selling puts as your strategy. Any particular reason why? Couple of reasons why. Off the top of my head, I prefer selling puts versus any other strategy. Well, selling puts is in my top 5 strategies. right? The versatile option trader can cash flow in any market condition, right? The versatile options trader um, can get paid in any market condition. But to answer your question, a couple of reasons I like selling puts. I can enter any ticker at my preferred entry price, and I get paid to do so. That's one reason. Second reason is my cash sitting in my buying power earns me interest every month. So those two couple of reasons right there. Where can we sign up to learn about what companies to trade? You could. Doc's got a great class. The Prime class is a great class. I've got a couple offerings through the BBS. Any of those. Where can I find an example of using options algebra? Great question, WG. If you think back to grade 7 algebra, they didn't just teach us algebra for no reason. But to answer your question, I have a training earlier this month. I offered through the monthly meeting, the Black Business School. And if you're interested in that recording, just email me or just email support at the Black Business School, and we could see what we can do for you. So just to clarify with the options algebra, the options algebra answers two main questions. I know my capital base. What cash flow can I generate? That's the first question. I know my capital base say is 100,000. How much can I generate with the 100,000? That's the first question. Second question, the option algebra answers is my desired cash flow is 5,000 a month. What capital base do I need? Right? Or if my desired cash flow is $2,500 a month, just say my cost of living is $2,500 a month. What capital base do I need to reverse engineer $2,500 a month? So those are the two main questions option algebra answers. Right? Just say my cost of living is 5,000 a month. My mortgage, my car note, my insurance, my groceries, my cell phone is 5,000 a month. My target cash flow is 5,000 a month. How much do I need to reverse engineer 500 a month? That's what options algebra will answer. I'm finding it hard to get back into corporate America again. However, I want to invest more in the stock market, but don't make enough. Any advice? Yes. You don't need corporate America to generate revenue. Your revenue is up to you. Your income is up to you. Your health is up to you. No one else. My advice. This is just me. This is just my 2 cents. You don't need corporate America to generate revenue. Your revenue is up to you. Get your side hustles up. Monetize your skill set, monetize your intellectual property, monetize whatever interests you have. Don't wait on corporate America. Corporate America doesn't like you or your resume or me or my resume. Do you have a formula for or checklist for evaluating a stock? Not really. I really just keep things simple. I really rock with the same number of tickers period after period. The same 8 to 10 tickers. I can't keep track of that many tickers. I don't want to keep track of that many tickers. I save my mental real estate for other things. So no, I don't. Do you have a formula? Where can I find an example of using options algebra? We just discussed that. Options, for me, in my opinion, options is the most direct path to cash flow. Not a lot of middlemen. A lot of business ventures I was involved in the past required a lot of middlemen, a lot of people pleasing, a lot of ass kissing. I got tired of that, so I've cut out the middlemen. I'm direct to market. We mentioned earlier today, this afternoon, about 4 p.m., 4:20 p.m. Eastern or 4:30 p.m. Eastern, NVIDIA will report earnings. I believe around that same time, Mara will report earnings. So a couple of things to keep in mind today. My options journey has been it's been great. Learning the right strategies with the right tickers has definitely skyrocketed my income, and you're no different. You could be the same for you. With a $55,000 capital base, what income do you estimate one is able to make? Great question. Options algebra will answer that question. I'll give you a very brief rundown, but if you wanted a more detailed rundown, just book a consult with me, and we can get into the specifics. According to my analysis, my experience on a conservative, let's just talk conservative end. Let's just talk at a conservative return. In my opinion, a conservative return is about 2% a month. So about 2% a month on that 55,000. What the ticker is MSTR? Oh, MSTR. Oh, okay, MSTY, MSTR, and MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's pulled back a lot last week or so, but if you have the right mindset, if you have the right strategies in your back pocket, that's a great opportunity, right? If I had extra cash on the, if I had significant cash on the sidelines, I'd be selling puts on MicroStrategy right now. As you may know, MicroStrategy's tied in with Bitcoin. I think Saylor just announced that he was going to not double down, but even buy more Bitcoin just recently. So I think he's approaching, is it 400,000 BTC or is it 500,000 BTC? Something like that. I think Saylor is one of the, or strategy in general is one of the larger institutional holdings of BTC. A couple other tickers that you may want to keep an eye on in terms of the options market. Off the top of my head, I'm always keeping an eye on Tesla. I'm always keeping an eye on Amazon. A couple of my favorites right there. What are some of your favorites? Drop them in the chat. What gamma do you consider for a call when a stock has a large price drop and you sell a call on the recover? Aaron, I don't really track the deltas too much or the Greeks too much. If I do look at the Greeks, it's more looking at the delta, not so the gamma. What gamma do you look at? What gamma do you consider? Generally speaking, if I do look at delta, 25, 30, maybe something like that. Selling puts on what? I'm not sure what that word is. Selling puts on what ticker? Is that the question? Well, you'll get a higher premium on red day for when you sell puts. You'll get a higher premium on green days when you sell calls. So that's the general approach, but sometimes you may not have enough collateral to do so. Did you say you would be selling puts on MicroStrategy? Yeah, if I had enough. I already did, but if I had even more collateral sitting on the sidelines, I'd sell more puts on MicroStrategy. Delta. There's no real general answer to that question. I don't really track Delta that closely. I look at the options chain. That's more of a determining factor for me than what Delta is, what Gamma is, what Theta is. I look at the corresponding cash flow. I look at the strike and the corresponding cash flow. That's more of a determinant for me than what Delta is or Gamma is or what Theta is. But that's just me personally. Let's see what else we got. So let me mention this while I have this in my mind. There's several strategies you can run, right? You don't always have to run cover calls. You don't always have to run cover puts. You don't always have to run the wheel. You don't always have to run the collar or a butterfly or a condor. My general advice, I mean, this is for me. I'll speak on what I do. I have a handful of strategies in my back pocket. Any market condition, I'm going to pull one of those strategies out and get paid. So I'm not always locked into the covered call. I'm not always locked into the covered put. I'm not always locked into the wheel. I'm not always locked into any one particular strategy. I got to get paid regardless. I need to make premium regardless. No one's coming to save me regardless. Any other comments or questions? Let's see what else I got in my notes here. Let me check the market quite quick. Let's see. Mostly green today. Apple's down slightly. Apple's been on a run recently. What else is down? Tesla's down under 300 right now. Let's see what else we got. Bitcoin at about 85, almost 86,000. S&P rebounded slightly. Amazon's rebounding slightly. AMD's at about 105. Meta's up a lot, 2.5% roughly, 675. TSM 194. So market's rebounding a little bit from this last couple weeks. Palantir's on the rebound. Palantir's at 89. What are some tickers you guys keep track of? Do you invest in CDs? That's a good question. I do not, because of opportunity cost. If I was to invest in CDs, I'd be losing out on gains in the options market. So no, I don't invest in CDs, but that doesn't mean you need to or don't need to. How long does the market give you if you have a margin call? I believe it depends on what your billing date is. Today is February 26th. So if I open a margin position today and my billing date was the 27th, I believe it bills you on that billing date. But actually, that's one of the things I have written down to confirm and report back to the group. If I want to invest 1,000 in options, which trade can I make? Which can I make double from? Um, Doubling any investments, 200% return on any investment is a great return. It's hard to say what you can double your money in. Maybe a better approach is to say my target return is 2%, my target return is 3%, 5%. So that's maybe a better question. I don't know any investments that can just double your money just like that. Do you like IONQ, RTGI, quantum stocks for options? I do. I do keep an eye on the IONQ. I've never traded the IONQ, but I do keep an eye on it. I know they do provide great premiums. I've got it on my watch list. What option period do you prefer, week versus monthly? Good question, Aaron. Nowadays, I have a little more time on my hands, so I'm a little more actively involved. So right now, I prefer weeklies, but in the past, when I'm more busy with other responsibilities, I prefer the biweeklies or the monthlies. And really, there's no right answer to that question. It's just a matter of personal preference. Right now, I personally prefer weeklies because I have more time to keep an eye on and manage those positions. TSLY, I believe, is the inverse of Tesla. Is that right? Um, I believe TSLY is the inverse of Tesla. I'm not sure on that 100%. SMR, Solomon. SMR, I believe, is on the grid, the income grid. I haven't really looked at SMR in detail. Hood, I know Hood. People like Hood, trading Hood. How do you feel about hymns, El Haj? I don't really track hymns, to be honest with you. I don't know. How do you feel about hymns? I'd have to pull it up. Let me look at what's going on with hymns right now. See where it is. Hymns. All right. So Crims is currently at 40.96, up 2.5% today. 1 week down a lot this past week, down 30% this past week. This past month, up 33%. So it looks like it's pretty volatile. 3 months, up 36%. Year to date, it's gone crazy, up 66%. So let's see. Let me look at the chart right here. Okay, so it looks like it's on the pullback recently, right? So maybe you keep hymns on your watch list if you're interested. Maybe you keep an eye on it, see how it behaves, establish a general range where it trades between, and then maybe you make a move. I have not personally tracked hymns, to be honest with you. I'm just looking at its chart right now. T Target. What's up, Eldry? What's up, Eldry? Target TGT. I don't track TGT either. Let me take a look at TGT. TGT Target. Let's see what his charts looks like. Okay, it's down 2.5% today. 1 week down 5%. 1 month down 10%. 3 months down 4%. So it looks like it's on the. It's pulling back a lot. If you believe in Target, let's check what its options chain it looks like. Let's see what kind of premiums they provide. I'm looking at a expiration of 228. Current price is 124. Even at the 121, 122, 123. Okay, well, let me go out to 9 days from now, March 7th. Let's see here. Premiums look just eyeballing the options chain on Target. Looks like the option chain is. I'd have to do some math on this to see what kind of returns this provides, but of course, you're going to perform your own analysis and come to your own conclusions with Target. I don't have Target on my watch list. I need to put it maybe on. I'll put it on my watch list. What is your take on real estate investing, and what is in what capacity do you buy properties? I do own real estate, and my investing journey did start in real estate, but I kind of learned a way to earn more efficiently without all the bureaucracy, middlemen, and ass kissing involved in real estate. So I've kind of divested from real estate in recent years, and I've got better return in the options market. But I still do own real estate. Now I've got multiple years of hands-on landlord experience, and it's not something I'm really want to get back into. Do I buy properties? Not as much as I did 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Let's see here. Aaron asks, do you incorporate any technicals like MACD, moving average, to identify when to sell covered puts? Do you incorporate any technicals? I do. I do. Technically, I do incorporate technicals. I kind of know in my mind just by tracking certain tickers for so long what I consider a support level or what I consider a resistance level. I don't get too detailed. I don't. I'm not on the charts. I'm really not on the charts much. I may dabble on a Yahoo Finance Bollinger Band from time to time. I may dabble on a 50-day or 100-day moving average, but generally speaking, I don't. That's not my approach. I kind of know what support levels are for certain tickers in my head, and at that point, I'll sell. I'll sell puts. CLSK is at $8. I have a put at 7, expiring 321. Would you roll down to? Would you roll down? Would roll down be a good call? 321. What day is it today? 320. 226. So you still got a month to go. It might be, depending on when you open that position, it might be a little bit too early to make an executive decision. Maybe you wait a couple weeks and then see how things play out, and then maybe you make an executive decision. But of course, you're the chief executive of your portfolio. You're going to make the best decision for you and your portfolio. Nicole, what's your general approach when it comes to options? How do you roll? How soon do you roll? Do you roll at all? Do you hold a position? Do you close a position? What's your general approach? I'm actually going to get into detail on that exact topic on Sunday. What are some of your favorite tickers to trade? Off the top of my head, for me personally, I rock with some of the mega caps. In terms of options, some of the smaller ones I rock with are. Let me take a quick look here. Amara, I've got a position in Amara currently. Yeah, on the mostly mega caps. I trade mega caps for the most part. I do trade in like a smaller holding like Mara every once in a while. In selling puts, selling in the money or out of the money options are better. Depends on your objective. Depends on your objective. What's your objective? You might hear me ask, "What's your objective?" in some of the other classes. I'm always going to ask, "What's the objective?" Depends. So, what your objective is will dictate your course of action. So, what's your objective? Right. The answer to what's quote unquote better depends on your objective. Apple, I see, has pulled back to 240. It was near 250. earlier this week. I believe they just announced that they're going to. I believe Tim Cook, and Trump met recently to discuss Apple um, manufacturing within the United States. I believe so. I thought that was related to Apple's recent run up, but today it looked like it pulled back a little bit. So T Zarson, what's your objective when selling puts? Assignment, cash flow, depends on what's better, or depends on what the objective is. Tell me what some tickers you guys like trading in the comments. VIP to Miami on the 7th and 8th. Does that include a membership in the BBS online? I believe that's something separate. Those are all separate things. BBS has certain offerings. There are certain offerings through BBS, but some of these live events, like the Miami event or the ABNC, are separate offerings. But even though they are separate offerings, coming down to Miami, networking, learning, connecting with other like minds, that's very valuable. For me personally, the networking is very valuable. Establishing people I want in my network. That's for me personally, that's a great value add. So anyone joining late, the plan is to have a winning Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern. We're going to discuss current events in the options market as well as the stock market. Just have a general discussion. We'll talk about potential option plays and anything relevant to going to anything relevant to the market. Generally, Nicole says, generally I roll if I want to keep the position, but I prefer to let the contract expire in the money and collect money. Okay, yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. We all have different objectives. We all have different psychology. We all have different capital bases. We all have different cash flow needs. We're all in different unique different situations, right? So because of that, we'll have different objectives. Cash flow, and I'm thinking in relation to out of the money calls. In selling puts, selling in the money or out of the money options are better. Cash flow, and I'm thinking in relation to out of the money calls. Okay, so let me try to follow your question, Tease Zarson. In selling puts, selling in the money. Okay, so if we sell a put in the money, that means that we're selling a put above current market price. We'll cash flow a lot to do that, but there's a higher probability that we get assigned at that strike price. And the opposite is true for OTM positions, out of the money positions. If we sell a put that's out of the money, that means we're picking strike prices below current market. We'll cash flow less, but the probability of assignment is also lower. So I hope that clarifies. Cash flow. Well, regardless of the strike price we pick, we're going to cash flow, right? Assuming there's a premium at that strike. So we're going to cash flow regardless of what strike we pick. In relation to out of the money calls. So you're talking about cover calls, is that right? If you're selling out of the money calls, that means you're picking a strike that's above current market. You'll cash flow less because it's out of the money, but the flip side of that is there's less likelihood of your shares being sold. Matt77 asked, do you have any books to recommend for a person who wants to do what you do and is a beginner? That's a good question. Any books for options investing? Not off the top of my head. That doesn't mean there isn't any books that for the beginner option trader. Person who wants to do and do what is beginner. If you're a beginner, there's a lot of free resources online, and also if you want more specific answers to your situation, consider the prime class, consider consultations with myself or Doc. That could definitely speed up your learning curve. Moving average. What are some options plays you guys are making? Earnings this week, Nvidia today, and Mara. Are you guys playing that earnings, or do you? What's your approach? Do you not care? Do you care? Do you play earnings? Do you not play earnings? Do you just have some other style? What's your style? Uh, Bite-sized Fables asks, what if you bought a stock at 23 and it dropped to 14? Do you still use the 5% rule when selling cover calls? Well, the 5% rule Doc talks about is just a general rule of thumb. You don't necessarily need to stick to that. Um, I'm gonna just give a brief outline on what you could do if this is the case you're in. If your average cost is 23 and current market is 14, you could sell red at 23, assuming there is a premium you're interested in at 23. You could sell below your average cost of 23, but that will require some active involvement. You have to keep an eye on your position and make sure you don't sell your shares at something below 23. That's a quick quick idea of what you could do, how to manage. We're going to talk about more of that exact type of thing on Sunday. So check out my monthly call if you're interested, and I'll give you a little more detailed breakdown on that call. Money in a minute. Yeah, this is a great doc. Doc has great resources through the Black Business School. Money in a minute is one of them. Prime class is one of them. The 10 a.m. class is one of them. Miami in about 10 days is another one of them. If you haven't been into any of the in-person events, those are always great. Great networking opportunities. Great ways to get great information, and also great ways to. I plan on offering a discount to all the Miami in-person attendees. So take a look, be on the lookout for that. My plan every Wednesday is to go about 1 hour, starting at 12 noon Eastern. So I want to wrap up. It's 1:20 p.m. Eastern. So I want to keep this to about an hour every Wednesday. Again, I have multiple offerings through the Black Business School. My monthly call is this coming Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I offer one-on-one consults. I offer my mathematics for millionaires class, and I also offer bulk consultations. So the bulk consultations significantly shorten learning curves. They provide customized strategies and solutions for you in your particular situation. And if you play it right, it could provide an infinite return, right? You can take some of this skill set and apply it every period the rest of your life. If you teach your loved ones this skill set, they can apply it every period the rest of their life. So whatever the cost is, if you play your cards right, you can get an infinite return on that investment. The objective should be to make maximum money. But there's also other considerations, right? There's also ethical considerations. You don't want to. Me personally, I don't want to jerk nobody just to maximize my cash flow. I want to remain legal and ethical and still make money. Karen says, I watch METV, Metaverse, I believe. Roblox is a couple I watch. I have not gotten into options yet. I'm still trying to understand buy and hold and how to tell if something is good. Oh, good for you, Karen. Everyone's on a different point in their journey. Roblox, I know it's a big ticker amongst people in the metaverse that play video games. Same with the METV. I actually started my personal options journey with practicing Roblox. A few years back, I dabbled with the Roblox. I just bought a couple hundred shares, and I just learned the platform I was using at the time. I learned the math involved. I learned the psychology involved. I learned how to roll, how to close. So my journey really started with Roblox. Once I was comfortable with that particular ticker, I really just applied that same mindset to some of these bigger tickers. Any final comments, questions? Just type them in the chat. I want to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. Again, Wednesdays, noon Eastern, winning Wednesdays. We're going to talk about current events in the stock market and the options market. So if that's a value add to you, jump on StreamYard every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. In the meantime, between now and next Wednesday, keep getting what you deserve, keep sharpening your skill set, keep sharpening your mindset, connect with people that do this on a high level. Um, that's how you sharpen your game. Really, I'm a believer in practice. I want to be great at a certain skill. I practice every day. If you want to be a great options trader, practice every day, study every day, sacrifice every day. Only if you're serious. All right, y'all. Next week, Wednesday, 12 Eastern. We're gonna run this back every Wednesday from now on. Winning Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern, StreamYard. In the meantime, go get what you deserve. Keep sharpening your skill set. Peace.